Donald Trump has successfully brought peace, or at least attempted peace, throughout most of the world. Despite many accomplishments and nominations, he has never received a Nobel Peace Prize. So today we're going to go over every time Trump should have won the prize, starting with his work in the Middle East. The experts said peace in the Middle East was likely impossible. Trump proved them wrong again and again. In 2025, the world was on the edge of chaos. Israel and Iran were locked in open war, missiles flying, nuclear sites hit, and every analyst was predicting a regional explosion. That's when Trump stepped in, after direct talks with both sides and some bombing of Iranian nuclear sites.
This is what the fuel enrichment facility looked like from a satellite view. Now take a look at what happened here. Every single thing that you see here has been actually changed a bit. When you look at this, the June 20th slide, take a look at the facilities up here and over here. Now look, this is gone.
Wow.
This right here is also gone.
He declared on Truth Social,
"The ceasefire is now in effect. Please do not violate it. Donald J. Trump, President of the United States."
Within hours, the fighting stopped. 12 days of war ended because America projected peace through strength. The move earned Trump immediate recognition and multiple Nobel Peace Prize nominations. Representative Buddy Carter nominated him the day after the ceasefire, followed by Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, who personally handed Trump a nomination letter at the White House dinner in July. But Trump wasn't done with the Middle East yet. Months later, he would turn his attention to Gaza. For 2 years, Israel and Hamas waged a brutal war, leaving more than 68,000 dead. Every so-called peace expert said it was hopeless, but Trump ignored them. He and his team drafted a 20-point peace plan, flew to Israel and Egypt, and personally oversaw the signing of the Trump Declaration for Enduring Peace and Prosperity. Every living Israeli hostage came home. At last, the gunfire went silent. And let me quickly add, depending on when you're watching this, things may have changed. As I'm recording this, Hamas is apparently not living up to the agreement. And even if the peace doesn't hold, that doesn't erase the amazing work Trump did. After ending both wars in Iran and Gaza, Trump was snubbed for the Nobel Peace Prize. The award went to Maria Corina Machado. Get used to hearing that name, by the way. I'm not saying she didn't earn it, I'm just saying Trump earned it more. And let's not forget, in 2020, Trump had already laid the bricks with the Abraham Accords, the most significant Middle East peace breakthrough in half a century. Under Trump's watch, Israel normalized relations with the United Arab Emirates, opening embassies, flights, and trade. Within days, Bahrain joined. Then Sudan, once labeled a state sponsor of terrorism, agreed to normalize ties. And by December, Morocco re-established relations after 20 years of silence. 4 Arab nations making peace with Israel in just 1 year. Trade, tourism, cooperation. No endless speeches, just results. So who got the Nobel Peace Prize in 2020? The World Food Program. Again, not saying they didn't deserve it, but laying the foundation for Middle East peace should have been a strong contender. On April 22, 2025, terrorists massacred 26 tourists in Kashmir, sparking India's Operation Sindoor on May 7th. This operation consisted of precision strikes on 9 terror camps deep inside Pakistan. Pakistan then retaliated with massive strikes on Indian cities, triggering the largest aerial engagement in decades, with 125+ jets airborne and both sides claiming multiple shootdowns. By May 9th and 10th, India devastated 11 Pakistani air bases across the country, while Pakistan fired ballistic missiles at New Delhi and convened its nuclear command authority. Hours later, on May 10th, Trump announced
a full and immediate ceasefire. Congratulations to both countries on using common sense and great intelligence. Thank you for your attention to this matter.
And both nations seemed to have backed down instantly. After the fighting stopped, Pakistan nominated Trump for the Nobel Peace Prize for preventing nuclear catastrophe, though India denies U.S. mediation, claiming it stopped after achieving military objectives. But to be honest, Modi is sorta like Trump in a way, so it's natural that he wouldn't want to give any outside credit. Maria Corina Machado walked away with the Nobel Peace Prize. Eastern Congo's war has killed over 7,000 in 2025 and displaced 7 million across decades of fighting involving 100+ armed groups. On June 27, 2025, Trump hosted the foreign ministers of Rwanda and the DRC in the Oval Office, where they signed the Washington Accord. Trump called it
a great day for Africa and, quite frankly, a great day for the world. I won't get a Nobel Peace Prize for this.
However, the M23 rebel group, which controls Goma in eastern DRC, was excluded from negotiations and stated the deal does not apply to them. Within weeks, M23 over 300 civilians in July, executing villagers and throwing bodies into rivers. M23 suspended peace talks in August, and UN observers confirmed the agreed ceasefire is not being respected. Although peace did not prevail in this situation, at least Trump gave it his best shot, and that's all we can ask for. Once again, his efforts to broker peace were overshadowed by our best friend Maria Corina Machado. A century-old border dispute erupted into the deadliest conflict between Southeast Asian nations in over a decade on July 24, 2025, when Thai and Cambodian troops clashed near the Preset Ta Muay Thai Temple. There were artillery barrages, rocket strikes on civilian areas, including hospitals, and Thailand's F-16 airstrikes on Cambodian military positions. Over 5 days, at least 48 people were killed and over 168,000 displaced on both sides, as Cambodia fired BM-21 rockets into Thai towns and Thailand declared martial law in 8 border districts. On July 26, while Trump was golfing in Scotland, he called both leaders and then issued an ultimatum on Truth Social.
We happen to be, by coincidence, currently dealing on trade with both countries, but do not want to make any deal with either country if they are fighting, and I have told them so.
Within hours, both sides announced an immediate ceasefire and agreed to talks under Malaysian mediation. However, Thailand publicly snubbed Trump's role, with Thai officials saying,
and our position on this is that we don't think we need any mediation from a third country yet.
Still, Trump's intervention seems to be working. Months later, the ceasefire he forced might become official. At the 2025 ASEAN Summit in Malaysia, Cambodia and Thailand are expected to sign the Kuala Lumpur Accord, the formal peace agreement Trump first pushed into motion. Thailand might downplay his role for diplomatic reasons, but everyone watching knows the truth. Without Trump's phone call and tariff threat, there wouldn't be a deal to sign at all. The Nagorno-Karabakh conflict killed tens of thousands of people. Some estimates suggest 30 to 40,000 across more than 3 decades. Hundreds of thousands were displaced, including 100,000 ethnic Armenians expelled in 2023. Russia tried for years to mediate and failed. On August 8, 2025, Trump brought both leaders to the White House, where they signed a 17-point peace agreement ending hostilities forever and establishing full diplomatic relations. Both countries would agree to build the Trump route for international peace and prosperity, a 43-kilometer corridor through Armenia linking Azerbaijan to Turkey, cementing American dominance in the energy-rich Caucasus while sidelining Russia and Iran. Both leaders jointly nominated Trump for the Nobel Peace Prize at the ceremony.
I think President Trump deserved to have a Nobel Peace Prize, and we will defend that, and we will promote for that, and that's obvious. So, and today's event, I think, is a very bright expression of that, and hopefully you will invite us to
Front row, you'll be front row.
Can I have a suggestion?
Yes.
So maybe we agree with Prime Minister Pashinyan to send a joint appeal to Nobel Committee to award President Trump with the Nobel Peace Prize.
So that's 6 conflicts ended in 2025 alone, and the year's not even over. Now, Trump likes to say he ended 8 wars in 8 months, but to be straight with you, from my research I found that Egypt and Ethiopia did not result in peace, and what would be the 8th deal of the year, Serbia and Kosovo, was finalized in 2020. So let's move backwards to Trump's first term and look at 5 more times where Trump should have won the Nobel Peace Prize, starting with my personal favorite, the defeat of ISIS. When Trump took office in January 2017, ISIS controlled a terror caliphate the size of Pennsylvania, 110,000 square kilometers across Iraq and Syria. They ruled over 7.7 million people through mass executions, slavery, and genocide against Yazidis and Christians, broadcasting their to the world. But Trump changed the rules of engagement, authorizing faster airstrikes, deploying additional special operation forces, and empowering commanders on the ground to act without White House micromanagement. On December 9, 2017, Iraq declared total victory over ISIS within its borders. By March 23, 2019, the Syrian Democratic Forces, backed by U.S. air power and advisors, declared total elimination of the so-called caliphate and 100% territorial defeat of ISIS after liberating the final village of Baghouz. Trump announced,
together with our partners in the global coalition to defeat ISIS, including the Iraqi security forces and the Syrian Democratic Forces, the United States has liberated all ISIS-controlled territory in Syria and Iraq, 100% of the caliphate.
the terror state that once governed territory, collected taxes, and issued passports was reduced to an insurgency. Abiy Ahmed, Ethiopia 2019, won the Nobel Peace Prize for efforts to achieve peace and resolve the border conflict with Eritrea. He ended one regional war, but Trump's coalition erased a genocidal terror empire that threatened the whole world. For 70 years, no U.S. president had met a North Korean leader. The Korean Peninsula remained frozen in armistice, not peace, since 1953. But Trump shattered that barrier. On June 12, 2018, he met Kim Jong-un in Singapore for the first ever U.S.-DRPK summit, signing a 4-point joint statement committing both nations to new diplomatic relations, lasting peace on the Korean Peninsula, complete denuclearization, and the reparation of POW remains. The 12-second handshake seen worldwide replaced 70 years of zero contact with direct dialogue. 1 year later, on June 30th, 2019, Trump became the first sitting U.S. president to step foot in North Korea, crossing the DMZ at Panmunjom and meeting Kim for 50 minutes, an unplanned moment that restarted stalled nuclear talks and demonstrated personal diplomacy at the highest level. For 3 years, North Korea conducted no nuclear tests, a freeze that held throughout the rest of Trump's first term. As a part of the Singapore Agreement, North Korea returned 55 cases containing the remains of American soldiers killed in the Korean War. Dennis Mukwege and Nadia Murad, 2018, won the Nobel Peace Prize instead for efforts to end sexual violence as a weapon of war. Meanwhile, Trump ended 70 years of hostility, brought American soldier remains home, and froze North Korea's nuclear program. The Balkans had been stuck in a cold conflict for decades following a brutal 1998-99 war that killed 13,000 people. Kosovo declared independence in 2008, but Serbia, backed by Russia, refused to recognize it, blocking Kosovo from joining the United Nations. EU-mediated peace talks collapsed in 2018 when Kosovo imposed trade tariffs on Serbian goods. On September 4th, 2020, Trump brought the president of Serbia and the prime minister of Kosovo to the White House. They signed the Washington Agreement, officially titled Economic Normalization, committing to reopen rail, highway, and air links between Belgrade and Pristina for the first time in decades. Both sides agreed to a 1-year freeze on hostile diplomatic campaigns. Kosovo paused its campaign to join international organizations, while Serbia suspended its efforts to convince countries to withdraw recognition of Kosovo. Trump called it a
historic commitment. Serbia and Kosovo have each committed to economic normalization after a violent and tragic history and years of failed negotiations. My administration proposed a new way of bridging the divide by focusing on job creation and economic growth. The two countries were able to reach a real breakthrough on economic cooperation across a broad range of issues.
In July and September of 2025, Kosovo's president publicly stated that Trump prevented a possible escalation between Serbia and Kosovo, crediting his peace through strength approach with maintaining stability in the region.
President Trump has been really helping us in support peace and maintain peace and save lives, and this has been
you think he did that
fundamental.
in June by stepping in, right?
So we have had a number of flare-ups in the past couple of years. For example, in September 2023, there was an act of aggression by Serbia against the Republic of Kosovo. We managed to thwart that with the support of our NATO allies. Nevertheless, there is a constant threat coming from Serbia. This past May, obviously, there was another attempted flare-up, if I may call it so, and this administration has been doing a wonderful job to prevent these from escalating.
Just trying to get ahead of it. Marco Rubio will be here a little bit later.
Absolutely. So prevention and deterrence has been key in our region.
And who got the 2020 Nobel instead? The World Food Program. On February 29, 2020, Trump signed the Doha Accord with the Taliban, ending America's longest war after 20 years, $2 trillion spent, and 2,400 plus U.S. combat deaths. For the first time since 2001, American troops would come home, not in defeat, but by Trump's choice. Trump reduced forces from 13,000 to 2,500 and achieved 0 U.S. combat deaths for 18 months under the agreement. The Taliban didn't kill a single American soldier from February 2020 through Trump's term. He bypassed the corrupt corrupt, illegitimate Afghan government, which collapsed in 72 hours when tested, and dealt directly with the Taliban, the only force in the region that really mattered. Trump set a May 1st, 2021 withdrawal with conditions, but Biden delayed it to September 11th for symbolism, abandoning Trump's plan and turned the exit into a full-on disaster. And the World Food Program won the Nobel Peace Prize. Trump secured the release of 56 hostages from more than 24 countries during his first term, and 72 U.S. citizens freed by October 2025 in his second term. Mark Fogel walked free from a Russian labor camp after 14 years for cannabis possession. Keith Siegel came home after 16 months in Hamas captivity in Gaza. 6 Americans released from Venezuela after Trump envoy Rick Grenell's direct negotiation. All 20 living Israeli hostages freed as the centerpiece of Trump's Gaza peace deal. Unlike past administrations that sent pallets of cash to Iran or paid ransoms that funded more terrorism, Trump used economic pressure, personal diplomacy, and peace agreements to bring Americans home. And various Nobel laureates 2017 to 2025 won instead. If I missed any moments that should have won Trump the Nobel Peace Prize, put it down below. Thank you for watching.